That may be the greatest catch I've ever seen in my life.
All right, guys, y'all absolutely destroyed the last video. If we continue to get that much support on this channel, I promise y'all are going to be seeing me every single day. I mean, we got over 100 subscribers, so many likes. Y'all left a ton of questions down in the comment section below. But I'm going to be asking for questions one more time in this video. Tomorrow, or maybe even tonight, I'll be making a fantasy trades basketball video. So please leave any trade questions you have down in the comment section. Ask me if you think a player is worth a buy low, a sell high, whatever your question is. And hopefully I'll be able to feature it on the video tomorrow. But in this video, this is going to be extremely simple. We did this with the guards about a week ago, and I think I want to do this every other week at every position just so we can track how the players are scoring this crazy fantasy basketball season and see who the risers, the fallers are, and then where everything balances out. I think it will be a ton of fun, but I'm just going to be going through who are the top 10 centers right now in fantasy basketball scoring. This is going to be for point leagues, but I am going to talk about the efficiency numbers as well so we can understand for a category league at the same time. And yeah, I'm going to be also diving into where I think the player is going to continue to produce. Maybe I think they're a sell. Maybe I think that they're actually a buy low. We're going to dive into it all. But before we do, ask all your questions down in that comment section. Send them ASAP. Y'all don't need to go to Twitter to send me them or anything. Just ask them in the comments. Okay. But let's start it off with a center that I loved. I mean, he was my #1 draft day target in the first round. I can't talk about it too much just because everybody liked him, but it's going to be Nikola Jokic, the Joker. I mean, absolutely on a tear right now. I mean, he's played in 12 games, and the reason I'm going to be mentioning that is this list is not going to be points per game. This list is going to be total points overall. So guys like Karl Anthony Towns will definitely, when healthy, are going to be at the top of this list. They're not playing games. They're not going to be making it just because they have not been making a significant impact in your starting lineup one way or another, whether that's due to injury, whether that's due to COVID. We're not going to dive into that. Maybe we will at the end of the video. We'll see how much more time we have. But Nikola Jokic has played 12 games. He's been averaging a ridiculous 35 minutes per game. And I know 35 minutes per game is not out of this world or anything for a center. But if you're looking at the usage that Nikola Jokic has, I mean, if you're looking at how they run their offense, I mean, 35 minutes is a ton. I mean, with those minutes, 24 points a game. And I know you would assume 35 minutes, 24 points. Okay, so maybe Nikola doesn't necessarily have great efficiency, but that's not the case. I mean, he's averaging almost 60% from the field, almost 40% from three right now. I mean, he has been absolutely killing it. But the reason why we loved Nikola in fantasy drafts was not based on the fact that he is seeing 11 rebounds a game. It was based on the fact that he is having over 10 assists a game currently this season. I mean, absolutely ridiculous. A straight up cheat code at the center position. I talked about this all the time in category leagues, but that assist category goes so fast in these fantasy basketball drafts. And I think this is a lesson that we need to take away. I mean, when you have a center that is running their offense, when you have someone with kind of a vision of a Nikola Jokic, I know they are 1 in a million. I know there's one guy in the league that we can put in that category, but he's someone that should be a top 3 pick in fantasy basketball drafts. No question about it. I mean, clearly looks like the #1 guy going forward. But our next guy is going to be someone that I really was not too hyped about, and he looks like just a miniature Nikola Jokic with what he's been able to do with his numbers, and this is going to be Sabonis. Okay, so right now in 12 games, Sabonis is averaging almost 40 minutes a game, 22 points, great efficiency. I mean, 56% from the field, 35% from three. We know he's not scared to put that three-point ball up, and 13 rebounds a game, but more importantly, the assist. I don't know how many times we have to talk about this in these fantasy basketball leagues. So many people want to overvalue the point category. So many people think that's how you win your league. But no, how you win your league in reality is you go after those categories that are hard to come by. You go after those categories that you can't find production in from the waiver wire. An assist fits that mold. I mean, with Sabonis right here, averaging also 13 rebounds. I mean, that's not something that I was expecting, but we understand it with his 38 minutes a game. I mean, a player that looks like a straight up league winner right now. I am definitely not looking to sell him high. Okay, so now our next center is someone that's only played 11 games so far this season, but he's looked fantastic. A ton of trade rumors were circling around this team, but Joel Embiid coming in here at our number 3 spot, not close to the average of minutes that we've seen with other players like Sabonis and Nikola Jokic, but obviously Embiid is someone the 76ers have to prioritize keeping healthy throughout the course of the season. He's averaging 25 points a game, also fantastic efficiency. I mean, 54% from the field, 40% from 3. I would expect the rebounds to be a little bit higher from Embiid, but I think this speaks to the fact that he's not seeing the same amount of minutes as the others guys. I mean, he's averaging 11 rebounds a game, 3 assists, but he's also coming through extremely strong in the defensive category, something that we expected coming into the season with both a steal and a half and a block and a half per game. Joel Embiid, not too much to talk about right here. I mean, if he stays healthy, he's going to be able to take down some fantasy leagues for you. Okay, so now we talked about Nikola Jokic. Let's go over and let's talk about another Nikola, the guy down in Florida, and he has been way better than what I expected this season. I mean, in only 11 games, he's been able to average 22 points, and he's been able to see decent efficiency as well. I mean, 50% from the field, 40% from 3, as well as 3.5 assists a game, 11 rebounds, a steal. I mean, not someone that's going to be able to just straight up put your team on his back like we are going to be seeing with the better Nikola, but still someone that looks like a superb value in fantasy drafts based on where you selected him. All right, so now our center number 5, someone that is definitely going to be falling down the draft boards as we go on, is going to be Andre Drummond. Okay, so here with Andre Drummond, I mean, in only 11 games, he has been on an absolute tear. I mean, we all know that he just had that fantastic performance last night. I mean, 32 minutes a game, about 20 points a game, 50% from the field. Obviously, he's never going to give you a three-pointer. That's not his game. He's not a shooter. But what he is dominant in is actually rebounds. I mean, sometimes he's going out there getting you 23, 24 rebounds per game. He's averaging over 16 rebounds at this point. And we know that he also has fantastic defensive statistics with over a block and a half and a steal and a half per game. So with Andre Drummond, the reason that he is definitely a sell high, the reason that he is not going to come close to finishing in the top 5, is because this team just decided to trade for Jarrett Allen. I mean, if you look at Jarrett Allen and what he was able to do on Brooklyn, I mean, per minute, he is a fantastic center, and he's significantly younger. It looks like the Cavaliers are most likely going to be planning their future around Jarrett Allen, where they don't have that same type of incentive with an Andre Drummond, so maybe they look to trade him, maybe they look to cut his minutes back. If you can move Andre Drummond off your fantasy roster for any type of value close to this. I mean, if you could go out there and possibly move Andre Drummond in another piece for Joel Embiid, if you can move Andre Drummond in a significant piece for a Sabonis, I think that would make a ton of sense. Okay, but we've already talked about one Indiana Pacer, and now let's go over and let's talk about their other big man who is straight up dominant right now. And this is going to be Miles Turner. Okay, so if I told you that Miles Turner was currently the number 6 big man in the league while only averaging 12 points a game, y'all probably would not believe me. But it's based on the defensive statistics. I mean, Miles Turner is coming out here averaging over 4 blocks a game. Guys, let me repeat that. Miles Turner, over 4 blocks a game. If Miles Turner tomorrow goes out there and he has a game where he records 4 blocks, that's going to lower his average. I mean, absolutely ridiculous. Also giving you a steal and a half. Obviously, you're not going to be looking at him for his points scored, but you're going to be looking at him to straight up win you those defensive categories on his own right. And yeah, I'll say with Miles Turner, a player that, I mean, if you can, I would go out there and I'll try to see what I could get him. If someone thinks that he's going to be able to maintain anything close to this in the defensive categories, I think he's also a player we could look to sell high. Okay, but we've already talked about the top defender in the league. Now let's go over to Rudy Gobert, someone who's also known for his defensive game. I mean, also only averaging 12 points a game, a little bit better efficiency with almost 60% from the field, and fantastic rebounds, 13 rebounds. Not going to give you any assist, but 3 blocks a game with Rudy Gobert. I think this number is actually a lot more obtainable compared to Miles Turner's 4 blocks per game. I think at the end of the season, possibly we see Rudy Gobert over Miles Turner in total blocks. So please, guys, if y'all can, I mean, if you could somehow move Miles Turner right now for Rudy Gobert plus a piece, I know that's not going to happen in the majority of leagues, but that is something that I would be looking to do. Okay, so now let's go over to our center number 8, and this is going to be Jonas Valanciunas. And here in 11 games, he's averaging 15 points, 53% from the field. Obviously, he's not going to be really giving you 3 balls, 10 rebounds, 2 assists, and about 1 block, 1 steal a game. Nothing too special here. I mean, this speaks to the fact that this center position falls off so quickly that if you don't have one of those elite guys, I mean, pretty much they are kind of all the same. But when he's giving you this type of consistent production, he is going to be a difference maker in terms of compared to what you would have on the waiver wire. So yeah, a guy that's not exciting you, but definitely a player you need to have in your lineup every night you can. Okay, so now our next player, someone that is going to be so intriguing to track over the next few weeks, is going to be Jarrett Allen. I mean, right here with Jarrett Allen, obviously he was just traded to the Cavaliers. He's only averaging 11 points a game, so obviously the reason you want Jarrett Allen is not for his offensive statistics, even though the efficiency's there. I mean, he has like 67% of his shots from the field going in. He's obviously taking no three-pointers. Why you want him is you want him because of his rebounds and his defensive statistics, averaging over 10 rebounds a game right now, 2 his steals, and over a block and a half. I mean, Jarrett Allen, I don't want to tell you to go out there and sell him where you can, just because if we see this Cleveland Cavaliers team decide to move in Andre Drummond, I think that could make Jarrett Allen a fantasy superstar. But where he stands right now, just a player that is so hard to evaluate. Let me know what y'all are thinking with Jarrett Allen. I'm obviously extremely biased, as well as I am a student at the University of Texas. So yeah, let me know what y'all are thinking. But our last center that we are going to talk about is someone that has looked very good for the Phoenix Suns, but definitely nothing close to where you expected him in fantasy. And this is going to be Deandre Ayton. Right now through 11 games, I mean, he's getting the minutes. He's seeing over 30 minutes a game, but the scoring is just not there. 12 points a game. He's choosing his shots very wisely. He's not wanting the offense just to straight up run through him. I mean, 12 points a game, 56% from the field. Really never going to give you any 3 action. I mean, I think he's made 1 3-ball so far this season. But DeAndre Ayton, possibly a solid buy low if you just naturally assume that he's going to be able to continue to progress, as he is still an extremely young player. Or maybe if you could go out there and trade in Andre Drummond, who's currently 5 spots higher than him, for a DeAndre Ayton. Even if you want to add something to Andre Drummond, I think that's a fantastic deal. I would add a significant piece over to get DeAndre Ayton, because I think he is a solid buy low candidate right now. But thank you guys so much for watching the video. Let me know what y'all think. Let me know if you would like videos like this in the future. And leave your comments below. Ask me your trade questions. Ask me your buy, your sell. I don't care. Send it down in the comment section and I will try my best to get to it. And yeah, that's it. I'll be coming out with that video either later tonight or early tomorrow morning. So just make sure you're subscribed and I hope to see you then.